In the year 1994, Kevin Eastman and Peter Lard created four of the most lovable characters in pop culture, named after famous Renaissance artists, and they went on to become the most popular characters in pop culture, leading to TV shows, comic books, movies, and so much more. Today, on our next entry in franchise through the years, we will be covering the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So, our first entry in the live action Ninja Turtles franchise starts in the year 1990 with the original film Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, directed by Steve Barron, starring Judith Hogue as April O'Neil, Elias Koteas as Casey Jones, and our Ninja Turtles played by Josh Pius as Raphael, Michelin Sisti, I probably butchered that, as Michelangelo, Liv Tilden as Donatello, and David Foreman as Leonardo. I think they just did the stunts. I don't think they did all the voices. I believe Corey Feldman was Leonardo, believe it or not. So that's kind of cool.
Mm.
Um, and it told the simple story of four lovable talking ninja fighting turtles attempting to save the city when the Foot Clan rises on the scene and the evil Shredder is attempting to take over New York City by stealing DVD players. um so Ninja Turtles, man. Ninja Turtles has always been in my life. Literally always been in my life. I have a uncle who, shout out to him if he's watching this. Him and my aunt, they absolutely love Ninja Turtles. My cousins love Ninja Turtles, and it was just something that it's always been in my life. I had the original DVD box set that had the original three, and I think I only watched the first one. And then I ended up buying the Arrow box set, which I love, by the way. If you guys are fans of the Ninja Turtles original trilogy, please go out and buy that. One, to support Arrow Video. Two, to get that set because it is the best those movies will look, and it's a really cool set, and it's got a bunch of
And
special features.
that set is always on sale too. I feel like it started
Yes,
off at like $150, and now it's like down to 60 or something.
it's yeah,
So,
and Arrow does 50% off, so
hmm
it'll probably be 30. That's a
hmm
steal. Anyway,
still,
this video is not sponsored by Arrow Video. Anyway,
we just love
um,
them.
the movie. So this movie has kind of been in my life a lot, and I came back to it right before Mutant Mayhem came out, and I kind of viewed it as a first time watch. Uh, this movie is cheesy nonsense. It is four people in rubber turtle suits fighting ninjas. Do with that what you will, and they eat pizza and say obnoxious things. Do with that what you will. Embrace it, and you'll like it. That's all I can say. I really enjoyed this movie. Now, the thing I enjoyed about this movie, believe it or not, is it's not as silly as one might think. It has its silly. Oh, does it have its silly? But there are moments where it's kind of down to earth and it's actually taking itself seriously. The prime example of that is, in the second act when we have to me, a great action sequence when the Foot Clan kind of invades April's house, and it goes from them beating on Raph to then the turtles getting it, and then they all fall down, and then the Casey Jones shows up, and it just keeps getting crazier. I love that action sequence, but when Raph gets taken out, you see the toll it takes on the turtles, and then they're also missing Splinter too. So it's just kind of, you see them going through it, and you feel bad because they're harmless, man. They just want to have fun and kick butt, and I really appreciate those down to earth moments. That's something that this movie did right for me. It very carefully infuses the silliness, but it also kind of reins it back a little bit and says, no, let's treat them like characters a little bit. And that's kind of how the comic is. The comic is not goofy. The original comic is not goofy. It's actually very serious. And that's pretty cool. I enjoy this movie. It's very practical. It's fun. It's over the top. The action is actually pretty cool. I like the action in it a lot. And the movie knows what it is. It's 90 minutes in and out, and It's one of the most successful movies ever. It had a budget of $13.5 million and it grossed $200 million at the box office. Fantastic, man. If this didn't prove that the turtles weren't going anywhere, I don't know what did. But yeah, man. What are your thoughts on the original Ninja Turtles?
This is the one that kicked off the movie franchise, and it is very charming, very lovable characters. I did not watch this movie until I got the Arrow set. Or I think I might have seen
No,
it
we watched it
soon, but
together
like
before.
really close before I got the Arrow set. I think it was like the year before I got the Arrow
I know
set.
I definitely watched the first two with you, for sure.
Yeah, so yeah, the second one we watched when I got the Arrow set. The first one, I could see the charm in it. I could see, how people would enjoy this movie. But I didn't love it the first time I watched it. I think I was expecting something different. I was expecting a little bit of a more darker tone. It was very silly to me. And then the second time I watched it, when I got the Arrow set, I could appreciate it a lot more. I appreciated the practical, everything practical done with the movie. I really liked the lighting and the tone, as far as like the atmosphere and things like that. They make New York City look really like grimy and dirty and stuff like that. And I
Looks like
kind of like that.
'89 Batman. That's what it
Yeah, it
reminded me
does. It
of.
looks very much like '89 Batman. I was thinking like, yeah, something like that. But I really enjoyed a lot of the different aspects the second time around. The turtles, they have like there are costume, but they also like have animatronics going with their face and their facial expressions. Um, Very interesting look to them. I think it feels very 80s. It feels very, since it was 9D, like it still had a lot of those, 80 type feels, like even with, the atmosphere, wardrobe, the style, everything like that. It's kind of a time capsule film. And and even like the tone, it feels just very 80s to me. And I thought it was 80s, and I looked at the year, I was like, oh, it came out in 90. Um, but yeah, man, like it took me a second time around to really appreciate this movie. I think it is very charming. I like the action sequences. The turtles are extremely fun, and I don't know. I really enjoy this movie. And like I said, it took me a couple times, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, man. This movie and seeing how good it is, it kind of just reminds me of a time that I kind of miss in Hollywood, to where somebody wanted to make a movie about something, they made it.
Yeah, yeah,
I want to make a
yeah,
Ninja Turtles movie, I'm gonna make it. Is it
yeah.
corny? Yeah, but I'm gonna do it.
Very, very.
You want to do a live
Yes.
action Power Rangers movie? Yeah, we gonna do it. Screw it. You want to make a Garbage Pail Kids movie? Yeah, we'll give kids nightmares for hours, but we'll do it. That'll
Yeah.
show them.
Yeah.
But
The only thing that I kind of don't love about this movie is how they deal with Shredder in the third
oh,
act.
brother.
Like the Shredder throughout the movie is fine. He's doing his Shredder thing. But in the third act, they kind of treat him like a chump, throw him in the
I'm
trash
gonna
can.
start a running joke with this video until we get to one movie in this franchise. Shredder is a bum.
Yeah.
Shredder is a
Yeah.
bum. Okay?
Well, they tried to do something with the second one, but
Shredder is a bum. Moving on. The Ninja Turtles were here to stay, ladies and gentlemen, and stay they did in our next entry in this franchise. Less than 6 months later, after the release of the first entry in this franchise, New Line Cinema wasted no time rushing a sequel into production, and 1 year later, we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Secrets of the Ooze. On a budget of 25 million, it only grossed 78 million, which was a huge downward from the first movie, which was interesting. And this movie is interesting, because for those who were around in the 90s, we had things like, the rise of anime. We also had the rise of Power Rangers. We also had the rise of the Ninja Turtles. And with that came violence. And with that came parents fearing that their kids would be running across rooftops with ninja weapons and Power Ranger weapons. And so we get this movie, and this movie is insanely goofy. And now I realize I said the first movie was goofy. It is goofy. This movie is a literal cartoon. There are things that happen in this movie. You're just like, dude, what? If there's any indication for what this movie is going to be like, it is the opening action sequence. The opening action sequence. If you watch that and you say, "What am I watching?" Do yourself the favor and just turn it off, bro, because it does not get more serious in the slightest. They
No.
go for it. And that is why I really enjoy this movie. Now, now, is this movie particularly good? Eh, not really. Because the first one had a compelling story. The first one had deep character moments. I think so anyway.
And
This
we got
movie,
their origin and
yeah. And,
splinters.
and and you know, they really hone in on the family aspect, and I think they did a great job with that. This
Mhm.
movie does none of that at all. It is pure, and I mean pure nonsense for 80 minutes. While it's fun nonsense, it is pure nonsense. Um the one thing to me that kind of holds it back is the whole thing with the neutering the violence.
Mhm.
It's funny, AJ didn't know this when he watched it. He was like, the turtles don't use their weapons. And I was like, yeah, they don't. And they barely fight. Like, they fight, but they don't fight.
Yeah.
And when they do, they result to they rely on like these insane moves. They're doing like wrestling moves, and like they're jumping on them and stuff. It's like,
Like
so.
they try to make it like extremely silly so it won't feel like violence.
But I'm sitting here like, so I understand you don't want your child to go around swinging nunchucks. But what makes you think your child isn't gonna go to the next room and body slam your son or daughter watching this? I'm just saying, if the
That's the
Ninja
best
Turtle
they could
did
do.
it, yeah, I guess. Oh, he didn't cut little Sally in half, but he body slammed her. So compromise, I guess. Um, the one thing this movie does well, just like the first movie, the costumes and all that, it still look pretty cool. Splinter actually got an upgrade. We both
Yeah,
were
Splinter
watching this
looks better.
movie and said, "Wow, Splinter looks great."
Yeah, looks
Um,
better than the first movie.
Another noticeable change is that Paige Turco is now our April O'Neil. The
Yeah.
first actress was apparently hard to work with, and she didn't want to
Hmm.
work the same schedule again, and so she was like, "Yeah, no, I'm out of here, bro."
Yeah,
Um,
recast.
yeah, and I don't really have a preference. I like them both as April. I
Same.
like them both more than Megan Fox's April. Spoiler alert. Um, but she feels like April, and she has a really good relationship with the turtles. Both of them do. I think, like I said, I don't really have a preference. Um, Casey Jones is not in this movie because apparently I don't know what was going on with that actor. Someone that does return is Shredder.
Yeah.
Shredder is a bum again. Shredder is a bum. This man, I will give credit. His Super Shredder look is sick. That is
Yes.
sick. Unfortunately, it's in the movie for 5 seconds and he gets crushed by a bunch of rocks. Shredder is a bum. Then we get Takeo, Takeo and Razor. I know.
Yeah.
So apparently, the creators didn't want Bebop and Rocksteady because they were like really one note in the cartoon, and so we get these two twerps.
Talk about one no.
Yeah, no, no, and I'm actually kind of glad we got Bebop and Rocksteady in Out of the Shadows,
Yeah.
but no, I'm sorry, I'm good.
Yeah.
Um,
And
then
like they like were like babies, or like they
Yeah.
had a mind of babies or something.
Then they have this like doctor character who's not Baxter Stockman, but it's like,
Yeah,
why didn't you just make him Baxter Stockman? I don't get that one. Honestly, looking at this movie, Out of the Shadows is low key the movie that this movie should have been. To a
yeah.
point. Spoiler alert, me and AJ don't hate Out of the Shadows. Well,
Mhm.
way down the line, but yeah. I don't know how well a practical rhinoceros and warhog would have looked in 1991, but
Probably would
I
have looked
mean,
just as good as what we got in this movie.
I don't hate the suits. The for it's practical, it's cool. But I mean, if they could have made them look good as Splinter, go for it. Um,
Yeah.
and then there's the gift that keeps on giving in this movie. His name's Vanilla Ice.
Oh boy.
But I forgot what the whole thing with Vanilla Ice was with this movie. He reached some agreement to be in this movie. He's the best part. He's the best part. The scene in the nightclub when Vanilla Ice is absolutely getting it while there is a full blown turtle action sequence going on. You can't make that up. You can't make that up. I showed AJ this movie the first time without him knowing, and no words were uttered. None.
I
It
was
is the
mesmerized.
it is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. They go from absolutely demolishing the Foot Clan, rightfully so, and you just see Vanilla Ice in the back getting it, bro. Just getting it on stage, throwing down, and then the turtles go from kicking butt to just breakdancing to
Breakdancing.
ninja rap.
Go
And then,
ninja, go ninja, go.
bro,
Go ninja, go ninja, go.
is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And then Shredder gets on stage and Vanilla Ice is still there. Bro,
Yes.
Shredder was trembling in his boots at the sight of four turtles and Vanilla Ice on site. I don't know why the turtles are there. Vanilla Ice, all he had to do was just, start the song again. It would have been over for him. I'm sorry. Ninja Turtles 2 is a absolute cartoon of a movie, but I love it. I love it to death. It's so much fun. In all seriousness, it is so much fun. And honestly, that's what I need a Turtles movie to be. Good or bad, if it's just fun, I'll sit there and watch it. Yeah, I really like this one a lot. But what are your thoughts on Secret of the Ooze, bro?
I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. This is a turn your brain off movie. This is not a movie to sit, nitpick, critique, all that. Like that. This is not that type of movie. It's to sit there, have fun, laugh. That's what this movie is for. It's what it was intended for. And that's what it was for. Watched this the first time when I got the Arrow set, like I said, and yeah, man, it's a fun time. Like it's like I said, when you turn your brain off and you don't think about it, you don't think about what's going on in the actual movie. It's a lot of fun. The action it took me off guard. The lack of violence, the silly tone in the action and choreography. It took me off guard a little bit when I first watched it. Second time, I had no issues with it. Just a overall fun time. Vanilla Ice, I'm gonna leave that there. But but yeah, it's a good time. Don't. It's a movie not to take seriously. So if you're watching this movie taking it seriously, you're doing the wrong thing. Um, but yeah, those are my brief thoughts on Secret of the Ooze. All right, so the next installment came 2 years later in 1993, and it is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. And it doesn't have a like a subtitle, which is kind of interesting. It would kind of be cool if it was like back in time, or
There's there's
something like that.
some there's some places where it says Turtles in Time.
Yeah,
It,
see, that would be dope. It's directed by Stuart Gillard, and yeah, so basically, turtles go back to ancient Japan. This movie, I watched this back to back, like the three movies back to back. Um, And I actually didn't quite hate this movie. It is just as silly and ridiculous as the first two. Um, and yes, like have it doesn't have like very many serious moments or a lot to cling on to emotionally, but that's not really what I watch these movies for. I watch them to have a good time. Sometimes in the movie the pacing is a little slower, but overall this one is kind of just as fun as the other ones. I love the turtles. Love the idea of going back to ancient Japan where ninjas originated. Um and the cast is still just as fun. Now there are some things different with the costumes. I think the the turtles costumes are like a little bit brighter and they have like these spots on them or whatever, but other than that, like the designs, the character designs, and things like that, I think Splinter has the same design. They're about the same. The animatronics are like a little bit different. I feel like the faces are have like a little bit more expressive. Um and Casey Jones gets a side mission in this movie. I know me and Tyler talked about it. Does not care for that, but I think that whole thing is kind of funny. Um, but yeah, Turtles in Time. They try to rescue April first, and I think Mikey gets captured as well. So they try to rescue him. Um, but yeah, overall, this movie it's fun. It has some sequences that are slower, but it's just as fun to me. This one released in 1983. The runtime is an hour 36 minutes. The budget here was 21 million, and it grossed 54.4 million. So it did make its money back, but it wasn't as lucrative as the other films. But yeah, man, like overall, this movie is fine. It's I don't love it, but I also don't hate it. Um, what are your thoughts on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3?
Just for context, we had about 7 movies to watch for this. This is the only one I did not watch. Again, I watched this movie once in 2023 when I was reviewing the Ninja Turtles movies on my page. I said the once was enough. I I I, I don't like this movie at all. It is now I like the concept. The concept is fine. I think if you did this in a show, it would be cool. If you had a animated Ninja Turtles movie where you or animated show where you did a two-parter with this concept, it'd be cool. The concept is fine. I get no enjoyment from this movie. I found it boring. I find it unfunny. I don't like the way the turtles look at all. I really don't. I think they
What's
perfectly got the costumes right in those first 2 movies. I don't know why they felt the need to say, "Hey, let's change them." I
what's
don't
your
know.
what's your issue with the costumes
They're to
in this
me
one?
they're too bright and it's the
Mm,
spots too. I don't know
mhm.
what it is why they did that. And honestly they just look creepy, bro. Like they look really creepy in this movie to me. Um, the usage of Casey Jones is horrendous to me in this movie. Um, to me, I like him way more in the first movie because he's with the turtles, he's doing things,
I get
and
that.
he's fighting with them. This movie, he's just doing nothing. Uh, this movie is really nothing to me, and with the existence of the next movie we're gonna talk about, and that being a actual sequel to Ninja Turtles 2, I have no problem pretending this movie doesn't exist because it really just like I said, 7 movies to watch for this video. This is the one I didn't. And every time I thought about watching it, I was like, no, like, just no. I went through when I got the arrow set. I went through the first 2, did not watch it. And again, I watched the first two from my set. Did not watch that movie. That movie, if it had plastic wrap on it, it would stay in the plastic because I just I don't like it. I really don't. It's the only Ninja Turtles movie that I downright don't like.
That's fair. That's fair. Also, I really do like April. I think April might be a standout in this movie, just because, um, like when she goes back to the 17th century Japan, like she is like a boss. Like she is not scared of anything, not scared of anyone. And I think that's kind of like April's personality, period. But I really liked her in this movie. I think she was like one of the shining stars in this movie. But it's this is the one where people don't they just don't care for it. And I it's fine. I get it. And it's not that I like I said, not that I love this movie. Like it's not one of my favorites, but I think it gets a little bit too much hate, especially in comparison to the first two. On to the next installment. It is entitled TMNT and it released in 2007. And we are back to animation. The first animated film of the series, but we're back to animation and it is CGI animated. Basically, there's this guy named Max Winter and he unleashes 13 monsters into New York and he's trying to obtain this ancient evil. And it's basically it's very generic. I feel like the plot is kind of generic, but overall, this movie is cool. Um, it is directed by Kevin Munro, and it stars Patrick Stewart as Max Winters, Mako as Splinter, Chris Evans as Casey Jones, Sarah Michelle Gellar as April O'Neil, and then you have Kevin Smith and Lawrence Fishburne as the narrator, Nolan North as Raph, Kevin Michael. Yeah, you got some big names here. So I watched this movie back when it came out in 2007, and I wasn't like the hugest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. Like I had watched it here and there. I watched the 2004 TV show, and I really enjoyed that. But I hadn't seen any of the previous films. So I watched this movie in 2007, and I kind of liked it. I was like, it's okay. It's a little boring. I feel like I didn't love the animation style back then. Um, and I also wasn't like big into movies back then, but there's a lot to appreciate here that I wasn't appreciating back in 2007. Basically, this is a sequel to the trilogy, and there's some time that has gone by. The brothers are a little bit at odds at some points. And it's mainly Leo and Raph. Raph, he has this alter ego. What's the
Night Watching.
night watcher? He has this alter ego, and he's like dressed in like this knight's suit, like with a helmet and all that. He's doing his own thing, and
He looks like a Doom guy from the Doom games a little bit.
yeah, he does, especially in Dark Ages.
Hmm.
But yes, he's going around fighting crime, and he's like kind of stripped himself from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle name. He wants to, do his own thing, and he kind of is. I feel like he's jealous of Leo. Leo's having this, crisis, and Splinter's like, okay, you need to go off and do your own thing and try to, you know, gather yourself and, train so you can come back and be a better leader for the brothers. And Raph he's jealous of this. He's like, why does he get to do this? And, gets to go on a vacation and all this. I do like the idea of, kind of making them at odds a little bit, but I feel like this went a little left, to the point where they're actually fighting each other, and I'm like, the brothers don't need to fight. That's me. But It is a cool action sequence where Leo and Raph actually fight each other. It's cool.
It's my favorite
Um,
scene in any Ninja Turtles movie.
I like it. But also just the reasoning behind it is like Raph is jealous. Okay, whatever.
That's his
Um,
character, though. It's always been his character. Now, what I will say is, it's a little ridiculous how if you're taking into consideration that this is a sequel to the trilogy, that he's always been like that since the first movie. Brother, we're in I'm going to assume this takes place in 2007. We're in 2007. You've been holding on to this grudge since 1990, dude.
yeah,
It comes to a point.
it comes to a point. Get over it. But yeah, so that's like one of the side plots, which is very like it's probably more interesting than what the actual plot of the movie is with Max Winter. Max Winter, he's unleashing these monsters into New York, and they kind of have to take them down one by one, and um, like at some point in this movie, I kind of get a little lost. I don't really know what
I very much get lost
he's
in this
yeah,
movie.
like I don't really know what Max Winter's like goal is.
They
Like there's
they
this point
play
in the
the
third act. There's this point in the third act where like all the planets have to align and like
yeah,
there's
dude.
some just what?
I honestly think it was a mistake. While I love it, putting so much into Leo and Raph, because the movie, when it first of all, I really like this movie. I don't love it, but there are things about
Hmm.
it I absolutely love. The animation is fire to me. It
Hmm.
still holds up to me.
Yeah.
Um, the tone of this movie
Hmm.
is what I need. There's a
Yeah.
reason that when I saw Mutant Mayhem, spoiler alert, that when I saw Mutant Mayhem the first time, I was really not that big of a fan. And it's because this is the tone I want for a Ninja Turtles movie. That's just my preference. There's silly stuff in here, but it's got some oomph to it. And I
Hmm.
like that a lot.
Hmm. It
And
definitely
before someone
carries a
says,
darker tone.
like, "Ooh, well, the Ninja Turtles is supposed to be fun." There are several cartoons, and like I said, the comic is not goofy. The original comics are serious, so that's a valid complaint. But anyway, the stuff with Leo and Raph is just great, and I love this movie being a sequel to the trilogy. It does feel like that, you know.
Hmm.
I like April and Casey Jones a lot. I'm glad that they finally got together.
Hmm.
And Casey Jones especially. I think he's cool. I love him rolling with Raph and stuff. That's good
Hmm.
stuff. But the problem is they put everything into Leo and Raph, and the movie starts out with them establishing the villains and stuff. But at a point, they just get so far in the background. It's not
Hmm.
until after the Leo and Raph fight, when they capture him, you're like, oh yeah, those guys are here. Doing what?
Hmm.
I don't know. Their aesthetic is fire. I
Hmm.
love the way they look. That's it.
Hmm.
They're
Yeah.
intimidating. They're imposing. That's it.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't remember what their purpose is. I don't remember what Max Winter's purpose is. The other problem is this movie is really short. I think it's a barely 90 minutes, and that's a
Yeah.
mistake.
Hour
If this
20. Yeah. Hour 27.
if this movie was hour 45, 2 hours, and you had already half the movie as good as it is with Leo and Raph, if you just put more effort into the villain's plot, this would easily be the best Ninja Turtles movie,
Hmm.
because half the
Yeah.
movie is genuinely fire.
Yeah.
It's just the back half of it. I like the third act. Seeing the turtles fight with April, Casey, and Splinter, that is awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Um,
I,
and
I also really
well,
do like
Splinter's not
Splinter
really in
here
it.
too.
He's cool, but he's not really in it. And then he shows up in the
Yeah, he's
third
not in
act.
it
He's like,
much.
"Oh yeah, I'm fighting with you." I was like, "Oh, nice of you to show up." You know,
Yeah. It's dope seeing Splinter fight though. Like we don't really get that in the first three films at all, really.
well, we
Like
saw it.
barely at the end of barely at the end of the first one. Um, but but yeah. This movie comes 14 years after um the third film. Um and I feel like this was kind of a reboot, even though it was a sequel to the third one. It's kind of a reboot of the franchise, in a way, especially because it is animated. We didn't get a sequel to this film, which I would have loved to see a sequel. And I did mention the animation earlier. I didn't appreciate it as much when I was younger, when I saw it in 2007, but I think the animation is really cool here. And I really like that the scene where Raph and Leo fight and it is raining and you can see like the rain droplets come off of them. Like that's really cool. I think the animation is really good here. Also the budget here was $35 million and it grossed $95 million, which is pretty successful. I don't really understand why it didn't get a sequel or more animated 3D CGI animated films with this, but that's neither here nor there. I really enjoy this movie. I think it should have led into more animated films, but we get our next installment.
7 years later, we would go back to the live action realm for our Turtles in a Half show, produced by Michael Bay. And that comes in the reboot Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, released in 2014, directed by Jonathan Liebsen, who directed Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, one of my personal favorite Texas Chainsaw movie. Directed Battle LA, movie nobody likes, and Wrath of the Titans. And it told the similar story of the origin story of the Ninja Turtles, but they tweaked some things. They made them a lot closer to April. They also
Yes.
made them aliens. They also made them 7 foot tall, and they also made Shredder 7 foot tall and a robot. Oh
Yeah,
boy!
they did that.
Oh boy! 2014, man. Um, I remember when this movie was coming out, there was so much outrage towards this movie. They were like, why are the turtles so big? Why are they aliens? Why is Michael Bay involved in this? Anything he touches is garbage. Oh my. Um, I was like, hey man, we get a new Ninja Turtles movie, bro. I don't know about y'all. I'm there. I thought it looked cool. I was like, yo, this looks kind of dope, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I don't know, man. I did not see this when it came out. I actually saw this movie in 2015, I want to say. I was on a road trip with my mom and my aunt and my cousins, and they had this movie on DVD. And I was like, oh, no, I haven't seen it yet. They were like, what? You haven't seen it? We changing that right now. Right now, right now. I was like, oh, okay. And so I watched it, and I was like, yeah, that was pretty cool, man. I kind of dug it for what it was, man. Um, and I came back to it a couple years later. This is my favorite Ninja Turtles movie. I don't know how much fire that's gonna get me under. This is my favorite Ninja Turtles movie. Um, this to me is how you reboot something and make it feel fresh. Now, does everything in this movie work? No, I don't. I don't think any really everything in the movie works. Let's start with what does work. I really like the camaraderie between the turtles a lot. This movie and the next movie. I really like them. They're the best part of both movies.
Mhm.
I think they all get along with each other very well. And you feel once again, you feel that family aspect between the four of them. Um the effects are all pretty good. They're really good actually. I think the turtles look pretty dope the whole time, and even I actually really like the way the movie shot. It's very slick, very 2014 looking.
Very, yes.
I
Agree.
actually think this movie, produced by Michael Bay, looks and feels better than the movie he actually directed in 2014, Age of Extinction. I really don't
Mm.
like the way that movie looks. That movie looks sunburnt. It's so orange and
Mm.
ugh. This movie is very slick. And I'm not fully convinced that Jonathan Leisman directed this whole movie. I'm seriously convinced this is a poltergeist situation where Michael Bay was in the director's share a lot. And if he was, I think he did a good job regardless.
Mhm.
The action sequences in this movie are fire. There is
Yes.
a action sequence on a mountain that is my favorite Ninja Turtles action sequence. I know I said the Leo and Raph fight was my favorite scene in the Ninja Turtles movie, but that fight, that action sequence is fire. It is so
Mhm.
fire. We watched the movie a couple days ago. I was literally getting giddy knowing we were getting closer to that action sequence. I love that action sequence. Even the third act is a lot of fun. Um, the second act fight with Splinter and Shredder is freaking fire. And now we get to the robot in the room. Not the elephant, the robot in the room. Shredder in this movie is not a bum.
No,
Instead,
he's not.
Shredder is absolutely goated, and I love him. The only thing I don't love about Shredder is that he has absolutely no character. He's a dude
Mhm.
in a robot suit. But you know
Mhm.
what? When Shredder is given as much smoke as he is to everybody, including Splinter, I don't think I care.
Giving everybody the business.
I love Shredder in this movie. I don't mind that the turtles are 7 foot tall. It's something different. Now, the one thing I take issue with is they're kind of immune to damage unless they're getting like electrocuted or something. Because the Foot Clan shows up and they're just throwing them into the wall, throwing them into trains, and they should be dead. There's several times in the movie where you're like, how are you breathing? Um, but I don't mind the change, and so when you change them, you have to change Shredder. I think Shredder is awesome. I love the way he looks. I love the way he fights. It's sick. You
Yeah,
can say he looks like a transformer all you want. It's sick. I
yeah,
love it.
it's dope.
It's freaking dope, bro. The action and the fights are sick involving him and the turtles. It's dope. Megan Fox as April O'Neil is the most Michael Bay 2014 casting choice I think I could ever fathom. How this casting choice came to be, I don't know, because she got fired from Dark of the Moon, and so she wasn't in that. But yeah, here we are. I don't know. Um, but that she's fine. Emphasis on the word fine as April. She does what she has to do. Will Arnett in this movie is so distracting. I don't hate him, but when the stuff with the turtles and Shredder and even April is, cool to really good, and then it just cuts away to Will Arnett. It's like, but why? Why? And then if it's not him, it's fucking Whoopi Goldberg, bro. Like, why? For why, bro? Um, the other thing I
Definitely
don't
forgot
really
she was in it.
like, it's this movie and the next movie. There's a lot of product placement in these movies. I'm not really the biggest fan of it. Now, the first movie had, Domino's and stuff, for pizza. Fine.
I think it was Pizza Hut.
Yeah. No, the first movie was Domino's. This one was
Oh,
Pizza
okay.
Hut.
Oh, okay.
But like there's parts where they're just drinking like orange crush
Of
and the
course,
can
yes.
is like in your face. There's parts where they jump on Victoria's Secret billboards and you see like billboards for other Paramount movies coming out. It's like, dude, why? Um, but yeah, I really like this movie a lot. Them making it that they were her pets, April's pets. Sure, whatever. I don't really care for that, but it doesn't really bother me. What does bother me is William Fichtner in this movie. No, absolutely not, bro. And to think that that man was supposed to be Shredder before the plot leaked. No,
I didn't even know that.
No,
I didn't know that until a couple days ago when he told
hard
me. I
pass,
was just like,
hard pass, bro.
what?
They gave this man all the worst lines in in the movie, bro. All of them,
The
every
way he
single
shoots
one.
his gun is. I'm
There were
like, oh,
there
dude.
were several lines after we were watching the movie. He speaks. I was like, wow, like just wow. Anyway,
You didn't want to run that back in a couple more times, you
nope.
know?
What are your thoughts on 2014, bro?
Um, my brief thoughts on 2014. I watched it back when it came out, about probably 2015. I saw it. I didn't see it in theaters. But back when it came out, on physical or whatever, I watched it. And I liked it. I didn't really have, strong feelings towards it. Um, but now rewatching it and have rewatched it plenty of times, it's really cool. I had an issue. I kind of had an issue with how the turtles looked, like their actual design, not necessarily their height, but like their actual design kind of threw me off a little bit.
They're over designed.
I think they kind of are, and then
And
they
it's
have like a lot of like stuff on them too.
I
Like they
mean,
have
that's
like
what I mean. I
chains
mean
and
with what they wear.
yeah,
There
yeah.
is not a single thing that Donnie doesn't have on. He's got
Johnny got the goggles
glasses,
and
he's got
the
goggles, he's got headphones on. He's probably got earbuds inside his ears on top of the headphones. And then he's got watches and it's like, dude, did you steal everything?
yeah. But the highlights of this movie definitely are the action sequences. I love them. And the camaraderie between the brothers. And that's pretty much the highlight of all the movies for me. Um the camaraderie between the brothers. And I don't have an issue with Shredder in this movie. Shredder is dope. He gives everybody the business. He has an awesome look to him. Yeah, it's like very mechanized, but that's cool to me. Um, but yeah, overall, this movie is cool. There are just little things here and there that I kind of nitpick. The avalanche scene is dope. Um, but yeah, like it's a cool film. I like it.
Also, the score to this movie is fire. I love
Yes, I
the
agree.
theme that they gave the turtles is really cool.
Yeah.
The score when Shredder and Splinter fight, I don't know who was deciding to just cook a gourmet meal with that score, but yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Um, 2 years later, we got our sequel to this movie, and it was called Out of the Shadows. So 2 years later, we got our sequel to the reboot titled Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. This was directed by Dave Green, who directed Earth to Echo, a movie I like, and he's directing the upcoming Coyote versus Acme. So I'm hoping that should be good. I've heard very good things. This movie decided to embrace the cartoon times 20. The first movie actually kind of fell in vain with the original first movie, minus the robot suits and stuff like that. It had a grounded tone and vibe, and it had a seriousness to it. This movie kind of has that seriousness, but it is trying to be the cartoon a lot. Some of that works, some of it doesn't. I enjoy this movie. I do. It's not perfect, and I don't think it's as good as the first movie, but I do enjoy this movie a lot. Once again, the camaraderie with the brothers is great. Um, I feel like they look a little bit better here, CGI wise. But I do think the CGI in this movie is worse than the first movie overall. There are shots of humans in things where I'm like, "Ooh, brother, that does not
Mhm.
look good." And then there's like other shots where like the frame rate is moving really, really fast. It's like, why? The embracing of the cartoon. I don't mind that. For those who saw Mortal Kombat 2 this year, it embraced the games fully, and I didn't have a problem with that. That movie has its own problems besides embracing the game. Um, but when a franchise is goofy, like the original franchise is goofy, and the adaptation kind of embraces that, I don't mind that as long as the movie's good. and it doesn't hinder the movie. This movie to me is hindered by that. Let's start with the positive from the cartoon. Bebop and Rocksteady. I like them. They're stupid, they're goofy, but it's a rhino and a warthog. I like them. I like the energy they bring to the movie. It's fun. Shredder. Shredder is a bum. I'll take Shredder getting thrown in a trash can over the treatment of Shredder in this movie. Shredder, they got the nerve to cast a actual person to be Shredder. And he looks cool. His costume is cool. It's practical. It looks sick. And then this man gets shoved in an icebox. You know, and for those who say, oh, well, if we would have got the third movie, he would have gotten unfrozen. To do what? And people got the nerve to complain that he's in a robot suit. What does he do in this movie? He does nothing. He stands around, going around doing things, and then he gets destroyed. Absolutely garbage. Baxter Stockman, played by Tyler Perry, bro.
That's a choice, man. That's a choice.
Listen, I want to say, I think Tyler Perry was genuinely trying. He was genuinely trying, and he knew what movie he was in. And I respect that he was trying to go over the top with with the performance, and he achieves that over the topness. He does, but it's a little much. It's
I
a
think
little much.
it was definitely a miscast. I think that was definitely a miscast. Yeah.
I think so. I don't know. Like I think so, and I don't because it's an. I think it's a distracting casting choice because all I see is Tyler Perry. That's all I see. But at the same time, he has this over the topness and cheesiness about him that I kind of respect because he's going for it. He's not playing it dead serious. He's playing an over the top character, and maybe that's just the way it's written. But I kind of respect him for going for it. But at the same time, it is a bit distracting. Then we
Yeah,
get
it definitely
Krang.
reminds me of Electro from Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, yeah. Then we get Krang.
Stuff of nightmares.
Bro. There's a line that you don't cross with adapting cartoons. This is it, bro. I'm sorry. I understand Krang is a iconic Ninja Turtles villain. I remember when they showed him in the trailer, everyone was like, "What did Krang? Oh my gosh!" There's simply too much in this movie. There's too much going on in this movie, and Krang is the main villain. Okay, fine. You want to do Dimension X? Okay, fine. But then you have Shredder doing. Shredder is a pawn, right?
Shredder's a pawn. Yeah,
But then
he
you also
definitely is.
have Bebop and Rocksteady that are pawns. So it's pawns
Yes.
to pawns to a pawn. Like it, it's too much. It's too much going on, and they don't flesh out
And also
any of it.
so is Tyler Perry's character too.
Mm-hmm. But
Stockman.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
he's a pawn too.
It's too much. They don't flesh out any of these characters. They rely on you so hard to know any of this from the cartoon, and it's just
Mhm.
you can't do that. You
Yeah.
can't. It's isolating your audience. I don't know who Krang is. I don't know what Dimension X is. I don't know what any of that stuff is. I'm not too familiar with Baxter Stockman. I know Bebop and Rocksteady because they're some of the most popular Ninja Turtles villains ever. But that's really about it.
Bebop and Rocksteady, this was their film debut.
It was their film debut, but I definitely know them. Yeah, like hell, they in the Turtles beat them up. They're the first people you fight.
Yeah, I'm just saying like that's and they expect people to,
Yeah.
know all of this. Yeah.
And then oh Jesus, you get Casey Jones, bro.
Arrow.
Bro, they made this man a cop. They
Correction,
made
correctional officer.
they made Casey Jones a cop. Do you hear the words coming out of my mouth? They made him a cop. That's like giving Thor a screwdriver. They made him a cop. I don't understand why. And it doesn't help that I don't think Stephen Amell is good at all in this movie. He is so miscast
He's
as
miscast. I think he's
as
trying. I think he's trying as Casey Jones, but
he's
he's definitely
so
miscast.
corny, bro. You just want
Yeah,
to punch him in the head. Like, shut
yeah,
up.
yeah.
um
He will never not be Arrow to me. I'm sorry.
Megan
Whatever
Fox's
he's in.
April is serviceable in this movie. She has less to do. It seems like they are trying so hard to give her things to do because she's Megan Fox, and you can't not have Megan Fox in your Ninja Turtles movie. So then you get Will Arnett.
He's not in the movie that much. He's not
But
in the
just
movie as
why
much.
is he here? Why? Why is he here? It's not funny. He's corny. He's
Well,
distracting. Why is he
yeah, he is
here?
distracting.
This movie is pushing 2 hours. He has several scenes that don't need to be here. There's literally a scene where he's blowing his own air into plastic bags because he thinks people will buy it. Do you know how much of a jackass you have to be? Like, seriously. The good. The action sequences once again are pretty cool. There's an opening one
Yes.
that's pretty dope. There's one that goes from the air to the sea. That's pretty dope. I like that one.
Hmm.
And the third act is fun. It's a little quick, but it's fun.
Hmm.
I don't like how quick it is because they build up Kang.
Train.
Yeah, Kang. That's another villain. Oh. They build Krang up the whole movie to be like, oh, he's this deadly guy from another dimension. They beat him in like 2 minutes. And I understand they want to, oh, he does the, oh, this isn't the last time, turtles. We'll meet again. It's like, okay, what? You're gonna show up in another robot suit? Oh, what? Shredder's gonna be with you? Oh boy. And then the other thing, they make Shredder a human. I don't mind that, but he never fights the turtles ever in this movie.
Yeah, he doesn't. I'm not
And
thinking about that. He
I
doesn't.
understand why not, because he doesn't have his robot suit, but don't make the change. Realistically, I would have just preferred Shredder to not be in this movie. Just pick
Yeah,
one villain.
I agree. I agree.
Pick one. Or what you could have done was not have Shredder in the movie, not have Baxter Stockman. Maybe have Baxter Stockman, but not have Shredder in the movie. Just have it that Krang makes Bebop and Rocksteady and says, "Oh, go to the Earth dimension and get me these things, so that way we can make Dimension X come." His plan in the third act. It
Hmm.
cuts out so much stuff for nothing.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
yeah.
and then we got the whole plot line with them wanting to be humans.
Thought that
There's
was kind of an interesting. Thought that was interesting.
It's an interesting idea, but at the
Hmm.
same time, one, it doesn't make any sense because the first movie, the third act took place in broad daylight. Everyone saw it.
Hmm.
So I don't really get that when the cops see them, they're like, oh my goodness, what are you? It's like, dog, were you just asleep during the first movie? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah,
Um, I don't know. There's
I think
something
it's.
I kind of like about it. Something I'm just like, all right.
I think it's interesting that they introduce that. Oh, I guess the ooze can turn humans into animals because Bebop and Rocksteady were human at the beginning of this movie, and they got turned into a warthog and a rhinoceros. Very interesting. And Donnie's like, oh, we can reverse engineer this and turn into we can turn into humans. And Leo's like, yeah, don't tell the rest of the group this. We're not gonna do that. And then Donnie tells the rest of the group, and of course, Raph is like, "Why are you lying to us? And why are you withholding information?" And I think that does kind of introduce a little bit of conflict between the brothers, which I think sometimes that's cool, like we did, like we had in TMNT. But I did like how it ended up, resolving. You're like, yeah, let's be true to who we are. This is who we are, because the turtles always had an issue. They always had a problem with wanting to be in society. They wanted to be with everyone. And we dive into that with Mutant Mayhem too. That's like a huge plot line. But they wanted to be, part of, with everyone else, on the surface, and not have to hide. And I think it really does give Out of the Shadows a good, I'm glad that it's called Out of the Shadows because of this plot line. But um, the movie itself, it's fine. I kind of feel similar ways to the third movie where I don't love it, but I like it. Um, and action sequences are dope. We kind of have the same designs for the turtles and things like that, but overall, this movie is cool. It's fine.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed this movie more on a rewatch than I did
Hmm.
the last time I watched it. I enjoyed the movie. There's nonsense about it, but I
Hmm.
like it overall. We did not get a third one because while the first movie had a budget of 125 million and grossed 485 million, this movie
Mm.
had a budget of 135 million and only grossed 245 million. So yeah,
Mm.
Paramount probably looked at that and said, absolutely not. So we took a bit of a hiatus, and it took until 2023 to arrive at our final entry in the Ninja Turtles franchise as of this moment.
So, 7 years later, we got another reboot to the franchise, and it is entitled Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. It was released in 2023, 3 years ago, and it we're back to the animation realm, Paramount Animation, and this animation for this movie is it's very unique. I think the closest that it looks is like the Spider Verse movies. It looks very similar to that, but also like the animation, the illustrations are like sketches. Like you can see like the sketch marks, around the characters, around, even you can see up here with the moon. It's like you could see the sketch markings. Um, and I think that's a really unique and fresh take for this franchise and just for animation period. The film follows the turtles, and they love New York and they just want to be out of the shadows as well. They are hiding. They're in hiding. They can't really go out because Splinter tells them that humans don't like us. They think we're freaks and things like that. Um, this movie has a voice cast that's a pretty huge voice cast. The turtles themselves are, I think they're pretty new names because they are
Mhm.
actually kids. Like they're young, and that's another thing that I really love about this movie. They actually feel like teenagers. But for April O'Neil, we got Ayo Adibri. She stars in The Bear and other movies. Maya Rudolph, John Cena, Seth Rogen, Rose Byrne, Giancarlo Esposito, Jackie Chan as Splinter, Ice Cube as Superfly, our main villain, Paul Rudd, Post Malone. We got a lot of voice actors here, and I think they work very well. All of them work very well for this film. Um, yeah, so I saw this movie in the theaters, and I was actually kind of hyped for this movie. Like, they announced it, they showed the trailer, and I actually really enjoyed the trailer. I was like, it looks fresh. I like how the turtles feel like they feel like they're actually teenagers. And seeing the movie, that's how it actually was, and it's kind of like they're kind of Gen Z teenagers as well, because they use a lot of the mannerisms, the jargon that Gen Z uses, sus and mollywop, saying those terms. I was like, oh, he's mollywopping me, mollywopping me. I'm just like, yo, this is, it's fun. Even though, like, maybe if we watch it in 20, 30 years, it might be a little dated, but right now, I really enjoy it. Yeah, the plot follows the turtles. They're hiding in the shadows, and they just want to be accepted. They want to go to school, which is like the first time that we really see this in the movie franchise. They want to be part of their generation, and I really kind of appreciate that for the film. April is actually, she's in high school as well. She wants to be a reporter, and she kind of like is following her dreams. They call her Puke Girl because she puked on camera one time. But she kind of has like this nerdiness to her, which I kind of like. It's kind of fresh for April. Um, yeah, this movie, I really like the animation. The action sequences are really dope. There's a scene where they do like kind of a montage, and they go and break into these criminal headquarters, and it like lines up seamlessly with one another, and they kind of like change to each scene, but it like works seamlessly with one another, which is very cool to me. Um, but yeah, overall, this movie is really cool. And it's probably my favorite Ninja Turtles movie. Um, yeah. What do you think about Mutant Mayhem, man?
Yeah, so I remember when I saw the trailer for this movie. I don't know what I was expecting from this movie, but I kind of had a oh moment. Like I absolutely love the animation. I was duh. You can't watch this movie and say that the movie is not animated to perfection. You're out of your mind.
It's probably his best
Um
feature.
yeah.
Mhm.
But I was just like, oh, I did not know this was gonna be this goofy. Boy. Um and I think that the second trailer was a bit better, but I was still really nervous. And the first time I watched this movie, I walked out of it very disappointed because I just I found it to be really silly. And you know, like I said when we talked about TMNT, that tone to me, that's what I prefer. That's the kind of Ninja Turtles fan I am. And that's why I like the 2014 one so much because it has that oomph to it. I thought this movie was really, really silly, and I didn't really get with it.
More
And I
silly than two.
actually no, but like I don't know. It was just something I felt like two was going for it, like really, really going for it. This
Hmm.
one, I don't know.
Hmm.
And so I didn't watch this movie again until actually a couple months ago. I watched it again because I was like, dude, I gotta sit down and watch this movie again. Um,
That was the
and I
second time you had seen it.
yeah,
Period.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Um, and I think I feel a little bit better on it. But still, not everything works for me. But I'll start with what I think does work. Obviously, the animation is just incredible here. Um, I think it is just so cool, and it gives the turtles so much style and uniqueness. I think it's really cool. Um, I like the characterization of the turtles and Splinter. I think like the good turtles movies get this right to where they reach the family aspect very well. And I actually like their relationship with them and April. I think
Hmm.
this is probably my favorite incarnation of them working with April. I like this a lot. Superfly. I mean, there's so many villains, but Superfly, I like him a lot.
He's the
He's
main
fun.
one.
He's fun, man. I really like Ice Cube as Superfly. I love his introduction and how he's rolling with the turtles. It's fun. And I like the dynamic they have to where he wants to do all this stuff to protect mutants and their mutants, and they're like, well, but no, that's bad. And he's like, man, what you talking about? You about to get smoked. You talking to me like that? Um, Jackie Chan as Splinter is awesome. I love Jackie Chan
Yes,
as Splinter.
I
That's a
agree.
amazing casting choice.
I kind of wish he had more to do in this movie, but
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, I
Um,
really like that choice too.
the this kind of goes in hand with the animation, but the action with the animation is just spectacular and so much fun. Um,
Hmm.
the one thing that doesn't really work for me and it kind of holds it back is the humor. The humor is very hit or miss for me with this movie. I know people love this movie and find it hilarious.
Bacon, egg, and cheese. Bacon, egg, and cheese. The
I don't like
Bronx.
that scene.
Bacon, egg, and
No,
cheese.
I don't like that scene. I don't. I really don't. Yeah, I was just in the theater like, uh, okay,
Yer.
no,
He said no.
I'm good. I'm good. That's just that's not what I like. I feel like that worked for Turtles at a certain point, but I don't know. I just need a little bit more seriousness, and
Mm,
that's just my preference, And even the more recent cartoons have a little bit more seriousness. So
mm,
I don't know why they went this route of just making them idiots. Uh,
yeah.
it's just not what I personally prefer. Now, for those who saw the short, I forgot what it's called. I know it's like Home Alone something.
Like Chrome
Um,
Alone.
whatever. I don't remember what it's called. I liked them more in that. That I preferred that whole short over this movie. That's just me. I actually really enjoyed that short. Um, and here's the hoping that with us getting Shredder and them teasing Shredder to be serious, I really hope that that means that the second one's gonna have a much more serious tone, or at least just a little bit more seriousness with the silliness. Um, but I don't know. Like I said, some of the humor works and some of it doesn't, and that's really what it comes down to is the humor. Because other than the humor, I like pretty much everything else in the movie. It's not a bad movie by any means, and I said that when I walked out of it the first time. I was like, it was cool. I liked it. I didn't love it though. Um, and I still don't, but I like it. It's fine.
Hmm.
I can sit there and watch it and enjoy it. But it's just like I said, it's that humor. It's but that's all humor. Somebody could think a movie
It's
is the
subjective.
funniest thing ever, and somebody's sitting there like, bro, what do you find funny? Like, what is this?
Hmm. Hmm.
But I do
Yeah.
like it though. It's a good first movie, and I hope the second movie takes it to that next level to where I'm like, all right, see now this is what we're doing, bro. I hope Shredder is giving them little kids absolute smoke.
I don't know how young they're gonna sound when the next movie comes out because it's been what 3 years now, and I don't know these kids are getting older. Their voice gonna drop. I guess that kind of works naturally. If they make it 3 years later, but they're not gonna be teens forever. But overall, we got a budget here of 70 million and it grossed 180.5 million. So it definitely it made its money back a lot more. And it's already confirmed to have a sequel. Apparently it's coming out next year. I heard that this week, so I'm very happy about that. Um, yeah, this is my favorite Turtles movie, man. I have so much fun with this movie every time I watch it. Um, and honestly, I think it's hilarious. I'm sorry that you didn't care for the comedy and the humor in the movie because I think it's hilarious. So like we said, comedy is subjective. Comedy and horror are like the most subjective, genres of film. So, um, but yeah, that is Mutant Mayhem 2023.
The Ninja Turtles have been in the world of film since the early 90s, and they've stood the test of time even to our year of 2026, and next year we will be getting a new entry in the sequel to Mutant Mayhem. But the Turtles, they're a fun bunch. I feel like there's a movie for everybody. You like the goofy stuff, you got the original trilogy. You like the semi-serious, semi-goofy, you got TMNT, and then the live action ones. And then if you want that goofiness all the way through with some dope animation, you got Mutant Mayhem. And that's kind of the thing I really like about the Turtles. We were supposed to get a Last Ronin movie, but Paramount killed that. So thanks. But that is going to do it for this entry in franchises through the years. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the bell for all notifications for future Nerd Talk videos and live streams. And we will see you on the next one.